It's a cold morning and windy and stormy, and I'm at Horseneck Beach in Westport, Massachusetts, and you can tell how stormy it is. The waves are crashing up on the shore, and today we're going to test out the Canon R8's 40 frames a second claim. Up until relatively recently, getting 20 frames a second was impressive. With DSLRs, you were talking like 10 to 15, and you'd be very, very happy. But since mirrorless has come on, 40 frames a second has been possible, but only up until really recently has it become affordable. The R8, you can pick it up on sale, $1,200. So let's see how it performs. I'm waiting for a car to go over the causeway over there. See if I can get a cool shot with the waves crashing over. Look, there's one coming. Let's check it out. To do this, you obviously need to go from first curtain and go straight over to electronic shutter. I'm at maxed out here at 2.8 because that's all I got with this 300. I'm stabilized. The car is starting to make its way over. Let's see what I get. Oh, there's a little burst. Obviously, this picture will have to be cropped in a lot tighter later. I'm just waiting to see a wave crash over, and then I'll take a longer burst. Here we go, slowly. I don't know why you would want to go across this causeway with salt water with waves crashing over your very metal car. But it's all good to me. Alright, he's about to get into the zone where the waves are crashing. Let's see if I can get something. There we go. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Alright, just took some shots. I'll look at these in a little bit, but this is not the only time I'm going to use 40 frames a second. How about an extreme cold? Let's go over to UMass Dartmouth, where I photographed with the R8 in 40 frames a second in 14 degrees. Let's see how that worked out.
All right, time to head over to UMass Dartmouth, where I graduated computer engineering. It's been a few years, but this is my alma mater. So I figured let's test out the R8 and see how well it performs at 40 frames a second. I just sat here in front of this light fixture that mirrors the brutalist architecture of the university and just waited for students to walk by, see if I could get something with lots of depth of field and just something interesting. Let's give it another go. I see this woman walking and she looks very cold, and it was a very cold day. So again, same thing, just hand holding it and holding that button down. And as you can see from the results here, quite impressive, very impressive. 40 frames a second at this price point was unheard of up until really recently. And the performance, the color, the image looks great. Time for a little basketball action, see how well this thing performs. I'm covering this game because one of these players was scheduled to get his 1000th point, and I'm always looking for interesting vantage points. But how well will the camera track? Servo performance is incredibly important. And as you can see here, the servo did well. However, with this particular lens in servo, this is regular servo, not AI servo, which will slow things down even more. It was basically only shooting at around 12 frames a second. So here's another example. Same thing, 1635, and again, I was only getting around 12 frames a second. Still impressive in that it performed well, everything is sharp. So I switched over to my 780-200, and look what happened. I was able to get to 40 frames a second. Very clean, very clear, and I'll tell you, I'm extremely impressed with what the camera was able to provide, not just in frames per second, but also in tracking capability. It did an incredibly good job. Well, there you have it. 3 different scenarios where we put the Canon R8 through its paces to see if in fact it could do 40 frames a second, but not just do 40 frames a second, was it any good while doing it? And I would say it far exceeded my expectations. At this price point, up until now, it was impossible. It performed incredibly well. 3 different scenarios, 2 of them extreme weather, and I would say that this camera lived up to the claims. I photographed with the R5, I photographed with the R6 Mark II, and this camera, which is thousands less, does just as good. Not just in the quality of the images, but also in the tracking and the frames per second. The shutter speeds, really impressed, to be honest. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could give me a thumbs up, subscribe, that would be fantastic. And see you on the next one.